All right. Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 9th of April. Couple things to kind of discuss. We'll do that after we tie. Um, Tonight, Jim and I will do a side by side on cicada foam pattern. As you know, we got the big 13-year and 17-year broods coming up, and they should be coming up in probably another month or so. And I've heard a lot of good things of fishing with these foam patterns. And I've even seen Tom Hargrove has a bunch of them for sale now too. So looks like everyone's getting prepared for it. We got Lee coming in. So we'll give you a quick tutorial on these. Like I said, Jim and I'll go side by side. These are pretty easy, just foam. If you've done a beetle pattern, this is just going to be a bigger version of it. So after that, we'll go through some of the meeting stuff. So I'm going to put Jim and I on spotlight, and then we'll start going. Say it's spotlight. There we are. All right, hit the light on. All right.
So Mick, before we start side by side, I have a little extra twist on this fly. It's basically the same thing, but it's got red eyes. So I'd like to start by showing how to make the red eyes.
Yes, please do, because I don't know how to do that.
Okay, so, and this is something that Craig Stevens showed me. He said Tom had showed him, and so let's go to the close-up camera here. So it's the same pattern that we've been doing, but like I say, it's got those red eyes on there. And get a better background here. So the red eyes are pretty easy to make. I use the killer caddis beads, and I didn't realize it, but these apparently come in different sizes. There's the ones that I've been using are 1/8 inch, and then the other material is monofilament. And again, what I've been using, this stuff is called Maxima. And now this is 30 pound, and this is actually too small for an 1/8 inch bead. But Craig gave me some 40 pound, and that works really well. Now this stuff is red, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. If you have 40 pound monofilament that was just, clear, that's shouldn't be a problem. So we start out, you need a source of flame. A lighter would do just fine. I have a alcohol lamp, so we're going to show you what we do over here. And just start by taking the end of the monofilament and put it near the flame. You don't want to put it in the flame. You don't want to get caught on fire, but you want it to melt. And you get a big enough bead here. And then just flatten it on a piece of cold metal. So I don't know if you can see that, but it almost looks like the head of a pin. And then I'm going to take a couple of beads, if they don't roll off the table. Put the beads on the other end of the monofilament. And then I'm going to leave about maybe 3/8 of an inch past the beads. because that's about as wide as the foam that I tie. And then I'm going to cut the monofilament off maybe 1/4 inch past the beads. And then we're going to do that same process. We're going to heat up the end. Then flatten it out with some cold metal. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So you have, it's almost like a barbell or whatever. We have the 2 beads on the monofilament. And then as we progress, you'll see where they get added in.
Jim, maybe I missed it, and if I did, I apologize. What kind of beads are those?
They're called killer caddis.
Okay,
Like I say, apparently they come in different sizes. I didn't realize that because I have one package that is probably about 1/8 inch, and the others are really pretty tiny. You know, like maybe, I don't know, 5/64 or something pretty small. So, I mean, the small ones you could probably easily get by with using the 30-pound monofilament. But yeah, that's all they're called is killer beads, killer caddis beads.
Very cool, because I'm actually, while you were talking, I'm trying to figure out if I could pull this off. I don't have red beads, but my cicada might have blue eyes with this, so I'm gonna try to do this on a, we'll say, as we normally say, on a fly. I'm gonna try to add those.
Are those plastic, Jim?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's possible that they're glass, but I think they're plastic.
I was just looking online, and every place I've found so far says that they're glass.
Okay, then well, it could be glass. So in tying this pattern, I use size 6 natural bend hooks.
And I'm
Although
using,
for years I used to tie them with your standard streamer hook. There you go.
that's what I'm doing, size 8 streamer. So this is good, because then we're changing it up a little bit. We're trying to get the same pattern, but doing things a little bit different, which makes this fun.
For thread, I'm using 6/0 unithread.
I'm using, it actually doesn't, sorry, I don't have any on it, but I know this is very thick, because I always like to use a little bit thicker when we're using foam, so I can kind of tighten it down a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, if I had some what is it, the ultra thread, I would use that rather than the unithread because you can flatten that out. And I think that will help a lot when it comes to wrapping around the foam. This unithread, if you pull it too tight, you can actually cut into the foam. But I think the ultra thread, if you flattened it out, it would be less of a chance of cutting through the thread.
Yeah, I love my nano silk, especially the 18/0. It's very thin so I don't build up a bulk, but I would not use that while doing anything with foam, because you could end up trying to crank too hard and end up with cutting through the foam, and I've done that before.
Okay, I'm out on Kelly Gallup's slide insight, and according to Kelly, there are 3 sizes of that bead, Jim: midge, large, and medium.
Okay. I don't know which sizes they are. All I know is I got 2 different sizes, so I'm guessing one is probably a midge. I don't know if the other one is a medium or large or what.
I do have the midges, but I use them for midges.
Yeah, what's interesting is I'm looking at the package that Kelly's selling, and there is nothing on it that says what size they are, so. I guess you just have to write it on.
Yeah, I guess.
Or call.
Then for the body, just use 1/8 inch foam, cut a strip about 3/8 of an inch wide. And 2.5, 3 inches long is fine. And then I cut a point into one end of the foam, just for a tie-in point. And I actually hold it on the hook, take my fingers and push it right down over so it's over the hook itself on both sides. Start out with fairly loose wraps and then kind of do a spiral wrap down past the bend just to get it started. Then on the way back, I cover that whole section of foam right there.
I'm using basically the same. I've cut it into a strip, but I've got a black and red foam. And where I got this was this white isn't the white foam, it's an adhesive backing that I get from Walmart. And you could buy this in art supply, and you could then just paste the two together. Here I've got like purple. I could match it up with black, and then it would be a purple and black. I've done it with yellow and green for grasshopper patterns. This was just a beetle pattern that this orange and pink. I actually had an indicator that looked like that, and they were hitting it, so I made a beetle pattern out of that. And then for the cicada, with it being black and red for this pattern, this is what I'm using. So I'm going to catch up the Jim. I've
Yeah.
got a nice strip, and I'm going to tie mine in.
Nick, Bill here. Now is that just an arts and crafts at Walmart, like any Walmart, or just
Any Walmart, and it will come in a package about that big but thick, and you will get so many different colors. You'll get the pink and orange and black and whites and greens, and what you can do is just marry two of them up together. All this is here
Yep.
is a double adhesive back, and you just could put two together, and it's not coming apart, and you could do all different colors.
Make sure you get
Okay,
the
that's
kind
cool.
with the sticky back on it, Bill, because it comes in two versions. Sticky
I
back and
didn't know.
none, so.
Okay. I was just curious. I'd never seen it before. So thank you. Is it expensive?
No, at Walmart, it's under $10, and you'll get so much foam. It's way more than what you'll ever need.
Yeah, I got from Hobby Lobby, I got a lot.
Play a little bit of catch up right now. This thicker thread I could really start cranking on.
I mean, John knows what it is, but I use the Bagley method sometimes with foam, so I can create my segmentation.
Yep,
And
and
just
I'll do
create
that with
little-
this.
Okay.
So we'll call that pretty good for me. So I'm going to stop there. And then I guess, Jim, if you want to start on what you're going to use for your body, and then I'll do mine.
Okay, so for the body, I use some black saddle hackle. And I would not, if you don't have black saddle hackle, I wouldn't think twice about using just whatever you have. Grizzly, I don't think it's going to make any difference. Just some saddle hackle. I'm going to tie that in. And then I am going to tie in some sparkle yarn. So comes on a card like a chenille does. gonna go ahead and tie that in. Then I'll bring the thread forward to somewhere between 1/3 to 1/4 to 1/3. The distance between the hook eye and where it's all tied in. And then I'm gonna wrap the sparkle yarn forward. It's just like a chenille on a woolly booger. You want to make nice tight wraps, trying to cover the entire shank of the hook. So you want every wrap to touch the one behind it.
That's not a chenille, it's just like a yarn, right?
It's like a braid. It's a sparkle
Okay.
braid, maybe that's what they call it. It's not really a yarn or a chenille. See if I can get a closer look on there, because it's not going to be focused, but it's
I
literally
understand.
just a braided material. See, it all comes apart.
What color is that, Jim? I can't tell from here.
That's orange.
Orange? Okay.
Yeah. But I also used like white or pearlescent. And then I take the hackle and I wrap that forward in a spiral, in a palmer. And I don't think it makes much difference whether you put it in do close wraps or far wraps or whatever. I don't think it actually helps the fly float much. So I don't know that you're accomplish anything by putting it in, really thick. And it really's not imitating legs either, because we're going to be putting legs in there. So it just kind of gives the body a little extra, it's a little fuller. So I'll wait here. I'll put a half hitch and wait for Mick to do his body.
Yep, I'm gonna be using this crystal flash chenille. And it's this hot orange. And so I'm glad we're doing this because I'm doing a little different material. And so again, it's just to kind of give it a little bit of a body.
And I got something called steelhead dubbing, which I really, really like. It's the same effect that you get with the chenille and the crystal chenille and the crystal flash. So I may try tying one of these with that. Just dub the body instead of
And I could maybe try wool with a little bit of bright colored wool with maybe some pearlescence, the angel hair stuff that I picked up, maybe.
Oh, I'm sure you could do just about anything.
Jim, do you have a picture of the cicada that you're trying to tie up and emulate?
Let's see. I did.
I mean, I know what they look like here in Omaha, but it doesn't look anything like what you're tying. So
Yeah, so the annual cicadas are, as a matter of fact, I have an annual cicada. I can show you what that is. So here is an annual cicada.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
the one.
It's olive colored and black. But these, whatever you call them, the brood cicadas or whatever, they're black and they have orange legs and orange eyes.
But don't they have great big fat bodies?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're not done yet.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we have them here too. They're the bugs that make the humming sound in the trees in the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
there we go. So there's my big fuzzy body. Wrap through because I'm going to do a little bit of a segmented body. So I'm going to start towards near the tip of the hook there. Fold over. Get a little bit snug. There we go. You don't want to crank too hard, or you'll pull too much. So cool thing with this, you can put as many as you want. You're going to still look fine. Wish I would have made that butt a little bit bigger, but that's okay.
Matt, on your foam, is it the gap width of the hook? Is it your standard?
It's a little
use of
bit
the
more
hook?
than that.
Okay.
You can see it's probably almost 2. Because I'm trying to
Thank
go
you.
for a little bit more on the size now of a cicada.
And I'm gonna do basically the same thing. I'm gonna tie mine maybe a little closer to the front. So again, I press the foam down so it's sitting on both sides of the shaft of the hook. I try not to tie it too tightly because you don't want to cut the foam. So I'll do a few wraps, then I'll do a few wraps around the hook and then a few more wraps. I'm almost making like a band here. Then for the wing, I use orange crystal flash. That's this stuff right here. And I just cut off a hank. You know, I don't know how many fibers are in there, but I like it, the tail to be, or the wing to be a little past the tail here. So I kind of measure out, it's like maybe ½ inch past the tail. So I'm going to tie it in at that point right there. Do a few wraps. And pull everything to the back. And then I'm going to come back maybe about a 1/16 of an inch and do another wrap here. And that's going to force all of those fibers to lay flat. And I fill it in. Like I say, I'm trying to make a band here rather than just a single segment there. And then I just cut off all the excess. So that's the wing.
For my wing, as you guys know, I love the material body cord. So I've just taken a couple strands off that, actually 3. And it's going to look kind of like that. I'm going to put that in as the wing. That's fine too. The head will fold it over and it'll be fine. All right, I'll call that good. And then now are the legs. Gotta be careful with these so you don't pull too hard on them, or they will try to pinch. The pull wraps in there with there. And my legs are in.
So this is where I add the eyes. So I'm gonna place the eyes right in the front here. And fold the foam back. Just like that. Fold it back right about even with the eye of the hook. Then I'm gonna again do a wrap and kind of like I say, I'm trying to make a band here. So the thread is probably at least a 1/16 inch wide. Don't tie it too tight. Then I'll cut off the excess foam like halfway between where the wrap is and the tail. I basically do the same thing with the legs. I use the live rubber. You know, it comes in the long strips. I'll cut off whatever 1.5 to 2 inch strip, and then I'll take them off 2 strands at a time. So this is actually 2 strands together. And I'll do the same thing with these over here. And just like Mick, I'm gonna tie one in on my side, one in on your side. So and one difference between Mick's legs and my legs, and that has to do with me tying in a band rather than to tie in one small spot, is my legs kind of come out at angles rather than, you know, straight out like that.
I like yours way better.
I don't know that one's any better than the other, but it's just the way I like to tie them.
I agree. I like yours.
And then I just pull the head back and I'll wrap around the shank of the hook a little bit. Get my whip finish tool and do a whip finish there. I've also tried doing the whip finish right at the same point where that band is, and it's held all right, but I have more confidence when I'm tying against a solid surface like the shank of the hook. And at this point, I'll make any adjustments with the legs. I can move them around, forward, backward, up and down. Then I take my bodkin and then I separate the legs. So I basically have 2 on each side. And then I finish off with a little solar res. So what I do is I'll take the solar res, I'll put it on the band down the bottom, put it on the head on the shank of the hook, and right at the junction where the rubber legs meet the thread band. So I kind of cover that whole area with with the foam dry.
Okay, Jim, now for the ultimate question. Have you caught any fish with this fly?
Oh, I have caught many fish with this fly. As a matter of fact, I've had such good luck with it. I mean, so I first learned this, whatever, 13, 14 years ago when the last time this brood hatched. And I just kept on fishing it. I mean, it's probably as effective or close to being as effective as a popper. And I started fishing them for bass. We were up in the Boundary Waters, and there's this one lake that we go to, and it's full of fish, full of bass. And most of them, a lot of them are small, but it's almost like fishing for bluegill, but at the end of the day, you have a meal. And I was fishing poppers, and these fish were going after the poppers left and right, but they're biting on the tails. And they're little tiny, they're relatively small fish. And I thought, I need something without a tail. And I opened up my fly box. I didn't even know what I was looking for. I was looking for inspiration. And I saw one of these things, and I thought, okay, I'll give that a try. And started throwing them, and just catching fish. And since then, I mean, when I'm fishing poppers, I'm always fishing yellow. I've always had really good luck with yellow for bass. So I tie these things in yellow. I've started tying them in purple. I'm going to tie some in the olive green that match the annual cicadas. Yes, I've caught many, many fish on these flies. And like I say, there's been days where two of us will be out fishing and we never put another fly on all day long.
Oh,
So yes, I can tell you they catch many, many fish.
Cool, I'll finish off real quick. I wasn't gonna put eyes in, but after Jim showed that, I'm gonna try to sneak these eyes in. See if I can get this to work. So,
Jim, the way you put the eyes on takes me back about 70 years when I was building model airplanes with my dad, the plastic airplanes. When we would put the landing gear together, we would slide the wheel over the landing gear axle, and then heat up the blade of a knife and mash the axle down so it was flat, and then
Oh,
the wheel would
wow.
rotate.
Yeah, how cool is that? Oh, I used to love building model airplanes. Model airplanes, cars, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, me too. I haven't built one in a long time. I started specializing in 1/72 scale. In fact, I've still got a 1/72 scale B-52 sitting someplace.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
it's
did lots of Navy ships.
about a 36-inch wingspan on that puppy.
scissors.
I got into U-control gas airplanes when I was a teenager, and I built a P-51 and a U-control P-51, and I tell you what, I used to fly that thing all the time. It was great sport.
Yeah. Did that too. I played with the aerobatic stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Never did do
Balsa-
the full pattern, but
yeah.
I-
The balsa wood in paper airplanes.
Yeah.
Yeah, spray them with a little bit of water and watch that paper shrink and hope you didn't warp the wing.
Yeah. Then later on, I used Mylar. I started having, they made a Mylar that you would iron on and then shrink.
Yeah. Yeah, that came well after my time with the airplanes. I mean, I'm talking back in the 50s or in the 60s when I was doing that. So we didn't have
Yeah.
Mylar in those days.
Well, I was probably in my
It was
20s.
a lot more
when I was
fun when you
doing
could absorb the fumes, so.
it. Yeah, why do you think they call it dope?
Yeah.
Hey,
I
I
can still
still
remember
have-
that smell like it was yesterday.
it's kind of crumpled, but I still have model testers glue in my original fly tying kit, and my model testers paint is still good in the bottle.
Wow.
Yeah, I used the testers plastic cement plus. Now, obviously, my fingernail polish is crusty, but I used the testers plastic glue to make my shiny head on flies, and then obviously glue it for models.
Yeah. No, I've done that also. I've tried painting like jig heads. And I can't remember if I used the testers on poppers or not at one point. But I had a few bottles of testers in with my fly tie and stuff.
Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust mine. I've got with baby blue eyes. If I just zoom out.
Call it the Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. The other one last thing I'll do is if you see the legs are just straight orange, Carl showed us this trick. If you take a leg and give it a couple twists, just take a Sharpie, go along the back. It'll give it a segmented look.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
homemade silly legs.
Yeah, so. Oops.
Cool. I like that.
We could do a little barred look on it if you wanted.
Yeah, I also, as a matter of fact, I like the look of the eyes so much that I actually retrofitted some of the flies that I had tied without eyes and did basically the same thing. I flattened out one end, I put one bead on, then put the monofilament through the fly itself. I had to take and clip the rubber legs out of the way, then put the other eye on there and cut it off, and same thing, heated it up and fixed the other end. So it's probably easier to do it ahead of time, but if you want to just kind of retrofit some flies that you've already tied, you can do that too.
I guess if it was glass or plastic eyes, that sucker's gonna float real good anyway.
Yeah. So just a big beetle. Any questions?
You guys are great.
I know Jim said he tied some of his in yellow. And so now I know where I got this one. This has to be one of Jim's then. Because it looks just like it. So
Yeah, that would have been one of mine.
yeah, because I was like, all right, I'm gonna use this as a basis and kind of when he said, oh, I look in yellow, I'm like, oh, okay, I know where this one came from then. So
Yeah.
but they're big floaty bugs. They should work just fine.
There's a yellow. There's a purple. I haven't had a chance to fish these yet. I just started tying these this past winter. So there's a purple one. And everything else I tie in purple, so I have to give that a shot. Like I say, I've got some olive green foam, so I can tie some that look more like the annual cicadas that we have here.
Very cool. So a couple simple patterns. You could double up the foam like I had, or just keep it simple like Jim has it. Either one, I think, are going to catch fish. It's going to be popular this year, especially one gentleman we had last week said he liked using that on the Merrimack with the browns and was doing very well with them. I'm sure if you go into the warmer lakes and ponds, you'll do very well with the bass as well. Everything likes eats cicadas, so I think this pattern will do very well this summer for us. So again, very simple. You guys could knock it out. Any questions?
Yeah, John, if you Google the the whatever the new brood, the brood of cicadas that are hatching this year, you'll get a better idea of why we're doing orange and black. Because they really look pretty much different. They're not as big, they're not as thick. And like I say, they got a black body with orange legs and orange eyes.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I try to bring up a picture, but for some reason, when I have Zoom going, I cannot seem to access other programs on my computer. So I don't know what that's all about.
I will see if I could come up with anything. Yeah, I don't have anything. All right, we got about 15 minutes left. One of the things I want to state, and I'll have to put another email out, and I put it out. I could see where I kept it in red for last week. I will make sure I officially cancel it, but the American Legion post time that we're going to do on the 13th of April, we're going to cancel that. Frank has had some surgery and went through a second operation, and he needs time to relax, and he's the one that gets us into that lodge. So we're going to cancel that. I need to get to Chicago too as well. So we will have another one soon, especially once Frank gets up and ready. That's always a fun thing, but use this weekend to start time, because Bennett is the following weekend. Vets Fish Free. We will be there. I think a lot of us are showing up. Thursday night is when I'll be there. And I'll be around fishing. You have my phone number if you need it, especially it's the same number on the email I sent out. So if you're around, you're looking for me, just give me a call. I'll have my cell phone with me, and we'll do some fishing. So should be a good weekend. Outside of that, let me see. That's all I have. We're gonna actually have to come up with something once we're done with Bennett, something local, maybe a warm water lake to go fish and see if we could, come May, hopefully this hatch will be out with the cicadas and we could try these patterns out. I think that'd be fun. So looking forward to that. Omaha, you guys are going to be tying again this Thursday, but I think it's a class, right?
Yeah, we're tying. I think we have a guy coming in to tie bass flies, right, John?
I don't know if it was a class or.
Yeah, I think we had some guy that's really, really good at bass flies, because
Okay.
Mike forgot his name, and then John reminded him.
Okay. So that's about all going on. I kind of talked to a few of you before we started. Work is going to get a little bit more crazier for me, so my time with Project Clean Waters is going to be reduced again. I'm on a program that is a little bit overrun for us at Boeing St. Louis, so we have 2 guys leaving and they're not backfilling, so I'm picking up an additional 15 to 20 hours of work a week. So for sure, I will keep this Tuesday meeting going. I don't know how much more I'll be able to handle past that. If you guys need anything, please reach out to me and I'll get with you, but time's going to be very limited. Emails will be very tight to get through. My one email for sure I will be getting out, our weekly email, which will have, you know, probably the most important information where we're going to be meeting up if we're doing any tie events or fishing. I'll make sure we keep that going. But other than that, my time's going to be extremely limited for a bit.
Can you hear me now, Mick?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, my other microphone just died on me. I don't know what was going on. But anyway, yeah, Tim Jacobs will be with us this week. He'll be doing bass flies, deer hair bass flies. So if you want to learn how to get another approach to tying bass flies, you know, we've seen about 6 different people so far on this one and Mars. So different way, different approach. So
Yep.
be kind of fun.
But again, that's all I have. Anyone have anything?
Yeah, Mick, for the Vets Fish Free Day, you able to bring a couple program rods, maybe the rod rack and some hula hoops?
Yes, I could bring that stuff. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you, see if you wanted to bring that out again. This is like a non-Project Healing Water event, but if you still want to do all that, I'm more than happy to pack all that up, and you know, we could still give demos and everything. It's basically up to whatever anyone wants to do. So
Yeah, don't need to bring a whole bunch of rods, but I mean, if we got 2 or 3 program rods, that'd be plenty. For
yeah.
what we normally have, and the hula hoops, I'll gladly do some casting. And I'll be bringing the ribbons and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see that. Right now, all I'm doing is doing the white thread jigs and a couple I think what they call them Dorsey midges or top secret midges, just to kind of hand out. So that's more for our Project Healing Waters group that if you're out there and you're like, what's working, I'll give you a handful of these things and we'll get you out there and catch fish. So
What size are you tying in, Mitch?
16 is my most common one.
Okay.
I could get back to my other, it's the most easiest pattern, but you know, for me, if I'm going to be handing out a lot of flies, I try to make these easy.
Okay.
I
You
have
use
a
white
fun-
beads, right?
Yep, I'm going to bring up my camera so you could see what.
What size beads do you use on a 16? Do you remember?
Ooh, I just bought a bunch and I'm looking for them. They're the step below 1/8. So was it 30 seconds?
What the heck kind of vise you got there?
Oh, Norvise. Have you ever seen this?
Oh yeah. You broke down and bought a Norvise.
I did. Yeah, that was Margie said I could have one. I think it was a bit, I would say too much, but
Yeah, they're $400.
no, they're more than that.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean, I'll show you this
100,
one.
aren't they?
I tell you what, I'd have to tie an awful lot of flies to justify that, and I know you do. So
I do.
Margie
and
just
it's-
has a long list of honeydews that she's gonna spring.
Oh, you know they're coming, but there it is. Just this is the simplest fly. We tie so many cool stuff, and then what works like a champ, put a white bead on a nymph hook, and I have like a 3 extra strong. Where is, oh, here it is. I don't know if you could see it. Again, I like that wholesale fly company, their model 16, size 16. It's just a scut
Okay.
hook. They work really well. And tie white thread behind it and then use the Solares behind it on top of it just to lock it in because the trout's teeth will chew it up. If you do this and check your tippet, one fly could last you a long time. But I do this real simple, just because they catch. And if I'm trying to give out a bunch of flies, I try to make it a little bit easy on myself and tie up. It's easy. I'll have some of those where I said I put a tippet ring on it, and this one I put a little crystal flash on it just to try something different. So tippet ring if you want to put a dropper on it, because everything, this one is a barbed hook, but most of everything I use is barbless.
Okay.
And what I drop off that is just a bead or a glass bead head size 18, like zebra midge. Then put that a foot behind it, the white, and you'll do very well. Because it's usually, I always see they're usually hitting dark or light, and those two together work really well there.
That almost looks like an emerger.
Yeah. Again, midge, crystal flash, and it's the same bead head Jim was just using, the midge bead. So it's not even weighted except for the hook that kind of floats behind.
Yeah. I guess I got to get some white beads somewhere. I don't have any, but I got yellow ones.
Yeah, and I don't know if I have, I mean,
You know, the lime green, yellow,
I
fluorescent yellow
try
is what I
so
got.
many different colors. This combo has worked really well.
But they're tungsten too.
You do a little bit of a pink.
Now, is it a tungsten bead or just a standard? Oh, sorry.
I always do slotted because sometimes I always have a hard time, and if it's slotted or it's, I just cover up any of the gaps with it. I've never had an issue, but again, I go through wholesale fly company. I don't know if I have any of their bead stuff. Oh, I got some tiny ones, but
There's a chart that you can get that tells you what beads to get, you know. So.
But those work. Some of the dry flies I do if you want any of the what are they? The cracklebacks work really well out there. I know a lot of people do it, and then I'll do some parachute Adams.
Nice. I got to get a tie right so I can handle something that small.
Or even, you know,
what?
The egg patterns, if you use eggs to see two of these things. I usually make these up for Mayfly project. These help, you know, when the kids start getting antsy that they're not catching, I'll put one of these on and I'll get the kids fishing.
I got some yarn from Al, so I got to figure that one out.
Yeah.
I got a lot to figure out in the next week. Holy bucket. And work has gone nuts. So people keep doing stupid things. So I guess that's going to keep me busy as a CISO. I was like, oh crap.
So yeah, that's what we're doing. Someday, once I get a little thing better camera, I could kind of show you guys that Norvice if you haven't seen it before. They got some neat stuff with it. I'm still learning it. But
is that the one you didn't get? The one with the you got the offset one. You didn't get the straight one for two flies.
I've got pretty much. I told them whatever you have, I want. I don't want to come back and I could have this or that. So it has the light attachment, you know, the heavier weight, you know, where I kind of, you know, really spin that.
Yeah, the ones I have seen have a they come out of the shaft. They're straight coming out of the shaft, and they were originally designed for two flies.
Okay, yeah, these. I mean, it's, you know,
that's the kind Paul Fidelis has. Is the
they're nice. It was something that, you know, I had my bonus, so I was like, I want it.
There you go.
And I'll have to demonstrate. I don't know if you saw. This is another crazy thing, but I was having fun. I don't know if you ever seen their
their automatic bobbin.
The automatic bobbin.
Yeah.
Right now I don't have it set up correctly, but that's kind of neat. If any of you where you pull, you know, if you want to put it on your bobbin post, but then once you have it, you got to like reel it back in with your hand. This just kind of automatically reels itself back in. So
yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Kids and their toys, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's this one. I was just like, you know, I was being silly. I was like, give it to me. So, you know, there it has the holder, and then I wanted the granite base, and
it's a nice base.
Yeah, it's laser etched with Norvice up here. So
cool. Yeah, I've got a piece of granite from the U.S. Air Force Academy terrazzo from 1967 that's sitting upstairs in my bedroom that one of these days I'll make a vice stand out of.
That would be really cool. I would say that would be a better vice base than what I got. That's really cool. But yeah, it's trying to think anything else going on. We're about 2 minutes from end of
Okay, I did a quick check for a size 16, 18, and 20 hook size. You want a 2mm or a 5/64 speed?
I would agree. 2mm is perfect.
Yep.
Trying to think of what I have and spares. But yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to bring any fly tying stuff down. I don't. think.
No, don't. I have enough of these flies. You're going to be set. Don't worry. Just, I'm just trying to tie up as many as I can. I'm hoping to have near 100 of these flies just to hand out. You know, it's nothing pretty. It's just something that works.
I'm excited to learn. This will be the first time on a real trout stream.
Yeah, it's
different first.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun where they have us blocked off for Saturday. That's could be a little bit tough. Once everyone starts wading into the stream right there, all the fish push to the other end. And with a fly rod, that is kind of a challenge to get to the other end. You'll see a lot of the spin casters able to get it there, but it's a little tough because once you go down into the water behind you, it's almost like a ledge. And so even if you try to backcast, there's a lot of spectators there watching, and they're kind of elevated to where your head is to their feet. So when you backcast, when you're thinking you're 6 feet above the ground, you're only a foot. So you start grabbing the grass. So it's a little tough there to fish, but enjoy the crowd for a little bit, and then we could go a little bit towards zone one where you'll have a little bit, more space.
Total luck of the draw, and I don't have any clue how in the heck I managed to pull this off. I was at Ogallala, and I went out behind the area where they had the handicapped access area, so it's a straight, tall bank. And I was pitching them 30 and 40 feet out, and that bank went up 15 feet, and the guys were standing above me, and for whatever reason, hook or crook, I didn't catch a weed, nothing. I'm like, okay, what did I do right here? You know what I mean? I have no clue. I'll never be able to reproduce it, maybe, but at least it was fun.
I know a lot of people use single-handed spay line in that area. And with doing that, you could do a good switch or roll cast, and you could get it across. And, if you could get it close to the other side, whatever drops off your line, you're usually going to catch something, because Ben way overstocks it for Bet's Fish Free. So there's a lot.
Are you going to bring your spay rod?
I've almost started. Let's see, because I'm still building it. But the cool thing is, check this out. I'm doing the carbon fiber.
Oh, doing a carbon fiber grip, yeah.
And the carbon fiber reel seat. But if you
did you use the carbon fiber overlay, or did you buy the whole handle?
The whole handle. So
okay.
It's carbon fiber handle, everything.
Cool.
But this is as far as it is. There's no guides to it yet. I've got
You're not going to make it for Bennett.
Oh, I will. I've got well, it's hard to say. Like I said, with work now, they've given me a lot of extra work. So my nighttime is going to be more work time. So, but I want to get that done because I was building it for this event, where it's so hard to get over there. But this is a spay rod, so it's a 5.
How long is it?
11 foot. So an extra 3 feet. And then with having a spay line, I should be able to do a switch, which is kind of like a deeper roll cast that hoping to get to the other side. So
I'm building a switch and a 9-weight. I haven't gotten very far because I know I've said this 100 times. I'm trying to figure out how to get organized, and I just can't seem to get there. So I got to rethink. But other than that, I do want to get it kind of done. I'm probably using your pattern. I'll probably use 210 denier or maybe 140 UTC and see if that'll work.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the guys that's out there showed me how to use a switch rod on that, so hopefully it'll work, so.
Mick,
All
I'm
right.
going to run. I got the Oregon or the FFI meeting tonight, so.
That's
I'll
right.
be there in a minute. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
Nick,
Yes,
who's the casting guy that you mentioned that's really, really good at teaching casting?
Jim Rogers while we're there, and he will be out there because he loves doing stuff for the veterans. He also takes care of the kids in Mayfly. I guarantee you he'll be out there. And when he
Okay.
talks, I'm like quiet, and it's like if someone's giving me $100 bill. The guy is amazing, and if you could get 5 minutes with him, he'll have you cast, a couple casts, and then he'll see something that he needs to work on, and he's super nice about it, and it's just fun to watch him cast.
If you mention you're with Healing Waters and a vet, and you're curious if he could help you a little bit, he says, "Yeah, come here. I can work with you for 10 minutes." An hour and a half later, he might finish up. He's
Yes.
just very generous, good person.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you learn so much because his classes, I took his class, and it was supposed to be like 6 hours, but then he made it go almost 10 hours. And he just loves doing it, especially for the veterans. You just say, "Oh, I'm Project Healing Waters." He'll grab his rod right away. "All right, let me show you something." He'll show you the aerial bend. And I know every time he sees me, he's like, "You practicing it?" I'm like, "As best as I can," but watch him, have him do an aerial mend. It's pretty neat. So,
okay.
all right.
I'm going to bring my Project Healing Water shirt and hat down there, so
Yeah.
I'll have something on me.
Yeah, no, we'll have a good time. So again, so we're not going to be meeting up this weekend, but we will have another Zoom call this time next week, and that'll be right before the Bennett trip. So if there's something you want to talk about for the Bennett trip or anything like that, we could do that. I could even give a quick overview of Bennett if you want. Some of the hot spots that I know of and what works. I could get up a map and just kind of point through it. So
And we buy our fishing license and everything right there.
yes.
And Emil and I are going to be there probably, depending upon travel and how many times I have to stop. We're going to probably hopefully be down there around 2:00, 2:30
Okay.
on Thursday.
Yeah.
I'll be there this weekend starting Saturday. So
Oh wow, you're going to be there a long time. So all right, cool. I'll see you guys next week. I'll tie some stuff. Mike, thanks for joining us. And I'm kind of looking over your shoulder. Is it F-16s you got there?
A bunch of ones. There's F-15s, F-16s.
Okay, pilot.
Pilot, yeah.
All right, because I was a 16 crew chief in the Air Force, so I see all the gear, and I'm kind of looking already. So
Are you up at Bowen in the training system side?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, I was there about 6 years ago with Batman and
Corn.
Corn.
Yep. Yeah.
Anchor.
Yep. So yeah, we're in the same group then.
Yeah, I was only there for about a year, so.
Okay, yeah, and I just left there a year ago. So I was there for almost 13 years, and then they did a big reorg, and it is just not fun. So I ended up, in which I went from the frying pan into the fire, where I'm doing the Navy MQ-25. So yeah, their stuff. So cool. Good to see
Cool,
you.
yeah. Thought you looked familiar. I was like, I
Yeah.
know that face.
I know that dude. So where you at now?
I'm working for a contractor over at NGA
Okay, cool.
down there doing some systems engineering work.
Oh, very nice.
A lot less travel.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I don't travel where I'm at now, but I'm getting too much work. So, all right,
Cool.
good to see you again. And then absolutely, hope to see you out there. I don't know if we'll try to get some fishing out there soon. Right now we're just kind of focused on Bennett. I don't know if you'll be able to make it or not. It's a good time.
Good. Well, look forward to getting the emails and we'll see join where I can.
All right, we'll see you guys soon.
Y'all.
And
right.
we'll talk to you soon. See you guys.
Thanks.
All right,
Thanks,
bye.
Mick.